Mama. So in this video, it's going to be about, I want you to create your own creative reset vision. So your creative vision. Right? Now, throughout the videos, I've talked about how creativity is part of us and it's part of our real self, our authentic self, right? So whether we know it or not, we always use our creativity in all areas of our life, and even when we're busy, it shows up. And many times we disregard it because we label it differently. Okay. Now, over here, I want you to realize that I want you, and I'm going to be doing this myself, to kind of look at some main areas. I have 9 main areas of life of our life to categorize, right? To 9 categories, areas in our life, and we're going to put in our creative goals for each area. Now, I don't mean to use your creative activity. Like, for example, if your creative activity is drawing, I don't mean to draw for each area of life, but how what you use as you draw, your thought process, how you put things together, how you pre-measure things in your mind, like every gift in your creative activity, your creative leaning, how those apply in all these areas. Okay, so actually, you know what? I'm going to put that in the workbook. Break down. Like, I'm going to add a section to the workbook for you to break down your creative leanings and all the gifts and talents that come together, or that you have that come together, that build up your, or that are evident in your creative leaning. Okay, because that will make it easier, much easier, if we do it that way. When we look at your creative activity, your creative lean, not activity, but your creative leaning, and break it even further down into the different gifts and the talents that comprise that you have, that make it, right, that make it possible. And that way, when you're looking at not just your creative leaning, but all the gifts and the talents that you have that mesh up together, and then looking into different areas of your life, it'll be easier for you to pinpoint how to use your creativity in those areas. Yay. Okay. Thank you guys for helping me with that. So, but in this video, we're just going to be talking about just the creative reset. And then in the workbook, you're going to be going even deeper. Okay. And this is personal for you. And feel free to share any revelations that you have along the way. Feel free to share it. Okay. So I want you to realize that when we put our vision, when we do our vision, like the way I want you to do your creative vision is not because you're trying to fix something else or trying to fix something that's broken, is because you want to move past where you are, right? And having said that, it's also not about fixing everything, because this is where we can get overwhelmed. When we make our vision boards, our vision plans for a coming year, we tend to look at all the areas in our life that we want to fix, that we want to work on. And we start at the very beginning of the year, we start putting it all out. And when you're looking at it as you're trying to track things and trying to be consistent, you're seeing this big old list. Excuse me. Seeing this big old list of things that you feel like you need to do, you feel that you want to do, you plan that you want to do. And just looking at it is overwhelming, because you're like, well, where do I start? If I start on this, when do I start on this other thing? So I want you to think about this as a progress through the year. Okay. So even as we have 9 different categories, I do not want you working on each one the whole time. I want you to split it up. How you do it is based on your personality, how you like to work on things, how your thought process goes, how all these work together. But I don't want it to be where all of it stops you from making any progress. Okay? So just remember that just because we're creating your vision board, your vision goals, your creative goals, doesn't mean you're going to fix everything at once or you're going to accomplish everything at once. Man, I want you to realize that as you start doing it, as you start writing it down, as you start working on your workbook and thinking about all these different areas of your life and how you can incorporate your creativity into each area, you're going to realize that as the more you think about it, the more you get down to the nitty gritty, you are more likely to act on. Okay. And this is so true because like when I when I used to do vision goals, like my vision goals for the new year, all the times would be my weight, health. But I would say, okay, well, I want to lose such and such, or I want to go down to this dress size. And that's all I would say. But I wouldn't go down to the a lower level and say, okay, so for this month, because I haven't really been as much as active as I should be, this month I'm going to start walking for this amount of like I don't break it down. And so that's what we're going to do differently. I'm going to have you break things down even further so you have smaller action steps. And the smaller that they are, the easier they will be to do. And because you did it, how your psychology works, because you had a win, you're going to be like, yay, I can go ahead and do it. I can do another one. Okay. So that's what we're going to do. So you're going to become more aware of where you need to be, what you need to do by taking small actions. And the small actions that we're going to start with is just looking at the different areas of your life. You can do these 9 categories, or you can do your own categories and see how your creativity fits into each one and how you can use your creativity in each. Because I firmly believe when we use our creativity, because that gives us joy, that gives us peace, that settles our mind using our creativity. Once we start using those gifts and talents that we have in all of these other areas, they stop feeling like duty. They stop feeling like a burden. Right? Even when we're tired, if you look at something that you need to do and you switch your mentality, your mindset, and add in using your creativity to accomplish that or accomplish most of it, I'm sure you're going to find that you're going to be able to do it even when you're tired. Okay, it's not going to be a burden like, oh, I have to do it. It's going to be like a more, oh, okay, I'm willing to do this because I'm going to do it in my own fun version way, right? So um now how that all translates is up to you and how you arrange it. So I'm just giving you the general idea, the general concepts, and you go at it because you know what your life is, you know how busy you are, and you know what you can accomplish and can't accomplish, and you know what your creative talents and gifts are. Okay? Now, something else I also want you to know is to keep in mind as you're looking at these different areas, in mind how you want your life to feel, to be, because that matters a great deal. I don't want it to be where you're looking at your gifts, your talents, and your creative leanings and looking at these categories and feeling in how you would use your creativity in these areas and forget the purpose of how you want your life to be. Because as creative mamas, we don't want to just be creative. We want it to make our lives richer. We want it to make our lives full. We want it to be an example to our kids, our families, right? So, as you do this exercise, I want you to keep in mind how you want your life to look like and feel like, right? So that is going to be the lotus point, or um, that's going to be what dictates how you feel everything else, right? Because you don't want it to be where um, you are filling everything out for somebody else, for a life that doesn't look like the one, or the one that would feel completely alien to what you want to feel like this coming year. Okay. So the categories are, I have on here, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Making sure. Self. So to do with yourself. Okay. Um, Now we're not starting with self. I'm not saying start with self to be selfish, but when we take care of ourselves, when we're in a space or in a mindset of being able to reset easily, being able to um, be calm, have a sense of peace, then that will help in other areas of our life, right? So look at yourself. So the first category is yourself. How can you use your gifts, your talents, your creativity to do things that you do for yourself, whether it's in self care? So, self care, um, you could do something creative, right? So, creativity can be self care, but self care doesn't necessarily have to be creative. So, things that are personal to you, in your area, in your sphere of just you. So, like for me, it would be just things Christine, right? So how would I use my creativity for just things that are personally? The next category is health. How would you use your creativity, your gifts, your talent, and anything related to health? Um, Now, this can get tricky when you're looking at these different sections, because you're like, well, that doesn't make sense. How can I use my love for colors and but it may not even be that. It could be like, okay, keeping track of your health records, or even your appointments, or even how you eat. Like, be creative. I'm saying be creative for your creativity. So look at it like, okay, if it's kind of organizing your records, or keeping track of everything, like documents and stuff, you could like color code them, right? Or you could be like, food. Like, okay, these colors is what I want to eat, or it'll be fun if one day we eat all reds, one day we eat all greens. Like, I don't know, have fun with it. Okay. So use your creativity, excuse me, to kind of enrich each category. So they don't have to be, I'm not talking about boring stuff. I'm talking about have fun with it. So relationships is another category, is the third one. So how would you use your creativity in your relationships? Like, so instead of just texting, you could create like a short video if you're into videography, or you could do um, a drawing, or you can not necessarily give a gift to somebody, but express your love or your appreciation for that person in that way. Um, No, it's up to you how you want to use it. Use your gifts and your talents and your creativity for that category. The next ones are spiritual. So your spirituality. So um now I understand a lot of people, not everybody has the same um not everybody comes from the same spiritual place, right? So, for example, not everybody's a Christian. I'm a Christian, but not everybody who would be listening to this or watching this may be a Christian. So, but everybody has thoughts on their spiritual life, right? How it would be. So, how can you be spiritually creative? I mean, how can you be creative in the spiritual category? So, like for me, it would be like maybe I could create this has been on my back burner, like a prayer journal, right? And then I could split up my prayer journal into like different colors or different segments, or for different categories, but Yeah, so to encourage other people spiritually, I could create something that I could give or sell or uh, gift for this area. Or if it's for me personally, then I could like a notebook. I could like fancy up a notebook and have a journaling notebook. Anything goes within the realm of your creative sphere, right? Creative box. Your home. How can you use your gifts and your talents to take care of your home or your apartment or your room or um, your space, right? Money. That's a big one. Now, how can you use that? Um, how can you use your creativity for money? With money. Now, I'm not saying creatively hide money. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying how can you can either do budgeting for your creative leanings. You could do a resource for that's money related. You could do like savings for a big thing that you want, or it could be like the thought processing of how to make your family's finances better, or I don't know. It's up to you how you want to use. That's a category. The next category is work and your creative path, right? So when you're at work, if it makes sense to maybe start your emails like the way you start your day, if you're more now depending on the requirements of work, of course, I'm not saying go against um, the requirements at work and whatnot. But if there's things that you have a leeway and it's up to you, if you're not micromanaged and it's up to you, you could be like, well, I'm going to focus on these tasks if I can that take a lot more energy when I have more energy. And then these other tasks could be when I have less more energy. Or it could be I'm going to tackle all my emails first thing so I know any changes and whatnot coming down. Or it could be I'm going to arrange my instruments on my Mayo stand a certain way. This is how it makes sense to me. Um, I don't know. It's up to you. With your creative path, that's your creative leaning. So, how are you going to use your creativity in your creative path? It could be like your area, how you set it up in a sense that makes sense for how you think, how you process things, how you do things, the steps that you normally take when you first go into that space, right? The next category is learning or education section. So, what do you want to develop? How can you create something that's educational? Or um, what research do you want to look for that will help you in your creativity, right? So, that's broad too. Do you want to start a YouTube channel or do you want to develop uh, photo books, or do you want to paint educational themes, or it's it's up to you how you want to do. So it's either like educating other people, educating yourself, educating your kids, educating your family. Who are you going to educate, right? So the last one is joy. I named it joy and play. So this is just for fun. Now it's different from self-care because self is anything that pertains to you, whether it's self-care or it's um, something that you do yourself. Like say for example, hair. Um, I have a wig on, so it's like, ooh, I'm gonna plait it like this or like this. I have two ponytails, one's on top, one's on bottom. Two tails, I don't know. Or it could be so that's self, right? Anything to do with you personally. Um, but the joy and the play is what you do for fun, what things you want to do for fun, right? How are you going to use your creativity to just enjoy fun, just for the fun of it, right? So those are the categories that I want that you're going to use in your workbook to help you reset your creativity and help you kind of have goals for this coming year. And as I said, pick one or two to start off with. Do not do all of them, right? Um, Now some of them may bleed into each other, so that's fine. But I would focus. So as you look at the categories, either these ones or categories that you put together yourself, you can put them in priority, like label them. Which ones you want to do first. Right? So there are 9, you can have more, you can add more, or you can have less. So you could be like, okay, I'm gonna start with these 3, and then I will go on with the next 3. Or you can even do 1 a month and then come back and start over. So it's up to you. All I can do is suggest ideas, guide, answer any questions, but the rest is ultimately up to you because you know your life, you know how busy you are, and you know what time you can put aside, right? So just remember, as you do this exercise, just realize this is just a vision of what you would want your life to be. It's not a to-do list. So if you find that something doesn't work anymore or something should not be on the list or you can't get to, or even disregard one category, do not feel pressure to do it because all I want is for all of us mamas to just be more intentional in embracing our creativity and adding it into all areas of our life. Because it is time that we stop disregarding that part of us, right? It's time that we stop boxing in our creativity into just that window creativity. It's time to open it wide and have it part of our everyday life, our everyday living. Okay? So that's it for this video. And I hope you learned something from it. And I hope this helped you. And I'll see you on the next one.